I like how when people in the Bible like Noah hear voices, it's God speaking to them, but when I hear voices, I'm clinically insane. With my video about the Animaniacs segments, hot, bothered and bedeviled, ruffling a few feathers, I figured, hey, why stop now? Let's look at another Animaniacs segment based on a religious story, and hey, look at that, they're taking a swing at Christianity and Judaism again. What can I say? We make it so easy, don't we? This segment is pretty short, so I'm gonna pad my video out with jokes about Noah and be self-deprecating of my mental state. Does anyone need an arc? 'Cause I know a guy! This segment of the Animaniacs originally aired in 1993 and is a parody of sorts of the story of Noah from the Bible, more specifically from the book of Genesis, chapters 5 to 9, as well as in the Quran. This is probably the most well-known or most recognizable biblical story. Noah labored faithfully to build the ark at God's command, ultimately saving not only his own family but mankind itself and all land animals from extinction during the flood. Afterwards, God made a covenant with Noah and promised never again to destroy all the earth's creatures with a flood, symbolized with a rainbow. Previous research has suggested that there were approximately 35,000 different species of animals which would have needed to be saved by Noah. Ah yes, Noah, the original Pokemon master. Keeping in mind this is a video about a 7-minute long cartoon segment and not meant to be an in-depth analysis of the inaccurate depictions of Noah and the Ark through the years, we'd be here all day if we did that. Noah's Lark originally aired on November 3rd, 1993. The title of the segment may be a reference to the first Max Fleischer Talkatoons from 1929, where the animals on Noah's Ark are depicted more like sailors who visit Coney Island for some well-earned shore leave. Alfred Jimeno, I hope I've said that name right, one of the directors for this episode, was also a storyboard artist for the Animaniacs and worked on VeggieTales, Minnesota Cuke and the Search for Noah's Umbrella, which I haven't seen yet. We start the episode off with seeing the human race partying like it's 1999 and Noah, being an introvert, is resting under a tree when God tells him he needs to build an ark, as God is going to flood the earth, essentially wiping out mankind. To save his family and the animals on the earth, Noah is tasked to build an ark. When Noah asks, "Okay, fine. What's an ark?" we get a reference to Indiana Jones of all things, because, you know, duh, Steven Spielberg.
It's this incredible bejeweled box containing the power of the heavens, and it melts Nazis.
And it is the melting of Nazis' faces that put me off the Indiana Jones franchise as a kid, and is also where my automatophobia came from. Thanks for that. While Noah fills the ark with animals, they board 2 by 2 of each species, and we get a cameo from Pinky and the Brain.
These patios are killing me, Brain. I think I prefer knee-highs.
Yeah, this joke will age fine. And we get a cameo of Babs and Buster Bunny from Tiny Toon Adventures.
Bunnies?
Buster and Babs Bunny. No relation.
Let's hope not. It's a children's show.
Yeah, because an incest joke in a kid's cartoon would never fly today. The original story of Noah never said it was 2 by 2 of each species, so where did that come from? Genesis 6 verse 20 says, "Take with you 7 pairs of all clean animals, the male and his mate, and a pair of the animals that are not clean, the male and his mate, and 7 pairs of the birds of the heavens, also male and female, to keep their offspring alive on the face of the earth." The misconception of it being 2 of every animal may have come from the song The Animals Went In 2 by 2, which reused the same tune for When Johnny Comes Marching Home song, which was also used for Ants Go Marching, though yet again we can probably blame religious Renaissance paintings that depicted the 2 by 2 thing. And you know what they say about the Renaissance?
You hate the arts, Brain. You always say that the Renaissance is French for bull.
Anyway, the segment is mainly about Noah putting up with the hip hippos, who arrive late and also believe the Ark to be a cruise ship, and Noah to be the captain. Noah is voiced by the wonderfully talented Maurice LaMarche, of course, who does an excellent caricature parody impression of Richard Lewis, a neurotic Jewish comedian. Apparently, Richard Lewis was less than impressed with the parody. The hip hippos are voiced by Frank Welker and Tress MacNeille, while the voice of God is Malachi Throne. Ernie Anderson is the narrator of this segment, who also narrated another segment based on a religious story from the Bible, the story of Adam and Eve, called Garden the Garden. Noah's Lark may not have come under scrutiny or come under threat of being banned, unlike Hot, Bothered and Bedeviled did, but the fact that both episodes dealing with religious themes didn't suffer the same fate is rather interesting to me. At least not from my research anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. And I haven't looked into it yet, but I'd be really surprised if Garden the Guardian wasn't threatened with a ban of some kind, considering the nudity involved in that episode. Or at least suggested nudity. Overall, this cartoon is cute and harmless and not all that insulting toward Christianity or Judaism at all, unless you're Richard Lewis, of course. It's a short segment of a simple misunderstanding with the hippos and Noah paying the price for their ignorance, while they carry on still under the impression that they're on a cruise ship for 40 days and 40 nights, giving Noah various critiques over the service while aboard the Ark. Not all that much to it, really. The hippos themselves aren't really my favourite characters from the show or anything. In fact, I think they're pretty forgettable. Maybe a Noah story would have been far more interesting if we focused on what Pinky and the Brain were doing aboard. Maybe sabotage, who knows? That would have been interesting to see Pinky and the Brain take over the world by attempting to literally wipe out mankind in biblical times, but I guess Brain wasn't about wiping out mankind, but more about taking over and ruling it. Anyway, it may not be the most noteworthy segment, but it's still worth a watch if you get the chance. I'm Mad Munchkin, stay creative.
The Lord said to Noah, there's